Hey guys, Brian here with Thumper Fab. Today I'm going to walk you through installing our new fender flares on your CFMOTO U10 PRO. For the first step of the installation process, we'll go ahead and bolt our front upper and front lower fender flare together. Here I have both driver side in my hand. I'll simply line up the holes and use our 1/4" hardware. Slide the button heads through the holes and cap them off with our nylon lock nut on the inside. We'll cap these off with our nylon lock nuts on the inside before we tighten them up using our 5/32 Allen wrench and our 7/16 socket. You'll want to go ahead and fully tighten these up so that when we're marking and drilling our holes to fasten the fender flares to the vehicle, everything's in the correct position and ready to install. With our front fender flares securely bolted together, I'm going to use our Sharpie and mark our first hole. I'll go ahead and line them up against the plastics where the fender flares were designed to be laid out. You can see all of our mount tabs should be flush up against the plastics. Once we have everything lined up, you can go ahead and mark and drill your first hole before installing your first push rivet. With our first hole marked, I'm going to go ahead and drill it out using our 5/16 drill bit before installing our first UTV fender clip. I'm going to go ahead and set this front fender flare assembly aside, take our drill with our 5/16 bit. Just remember, when you're drilling through your plastics, you don't want to have to drill farther than you need to. Just 3/8 to 1/2 inch depth should be plenty to drill through the plastic panel before moving on to the next step. With our first hole drilled, I'm going to go ahead and use our UTV fender clip to fasten the fender flare assembly to the vehicle. You'll simply slide the fender clip through the hole in the plastic before depressing the plunger on the back side, which will tighten everything up and securely fasten the fender flare to your vehicle. With our first fender clip installed, you can go ahead and move your way around the fender flare, drilling the remaining holes and installing your fender clips as you go for a nice finished installation before we move on to the rear. With all our push pins installed in our front fender flare, we can go ahead and move on to the rear installation. The rear is a 2-piece fender flare, as it will allow your bed to open and articulate, but we'll want to go ahead and try and line up both fender flares before we mark any of our holes or drill anything, so that once all our push pins are installed, we have a nice clean finish. So with the help of a friend, we're going to go ahead and line up both our fender flares at the same time, and I'll mark and drill one hole in both of them and put a push pin in it so that we can keep them in the exact place that we like our fitment. With one push pin installed in both our upper and lower rear fender flare, we're going to repeat the same process that we did on the front. We'll go ahead and drill and install our push pins one at a time to make sure that our fitment stays exactly how we'd like it. We'll go ahead and install our last push pin in our rear fender flare install. With all your push pins installed, you're ready to hit the trails and enjoy your new Thumper Fab Fender Flares on your U10 PRO.